my name is Tunstall. I've always had a passion for disabilities, being a special education teacher when I could work. But I'm also an adult that has struggled with disabilities in the form of chronic illnesses for more than half of my adult life. I have multiple sclerosis, restricted lung disease, COPD, and now, sadly, after having COVID, I'm struggling with post-COVID syndrome, including inflammatory system symptoms, multiple cardiac diagnoses, and new lung conditions. All of these conditions have left me disabled, and they also represent a type of disability that is often missed. It's of invisible disabilities, or invisible illnesses. Except times that you might see me in a mobility device, like I use my wheelchair to walk up here because I can't walk long distances. But if you saw me on the street, you would have no clue that every day I struggle to get out of bed. You'd have no clue that when I walk to a set of stairs, I start to get paranoid. I start getting anxious, I start getting scared, because if there is not an elevator or something accessible, myself, or if I have my family with me, have to find another place to go. And it's a horrible feeling to have, and no one should go through that. And I'm not alone in this. 10% of Americans have invisible disabilities. So the person standing to the left of you, the right of you, in front of you, they could have a disability and you would have no clue. And you may be thinking, what does this have to do with accessibility, and why is this important for people with disabilities? And I'm going to tell you why. The answer is it's easy to look around you and look for the people that have only physical disabilities and think, there's not that many people with disabilities. But you don't know how many people are around you, as I stated, that do have invisible disabilities. So to the businesses of Northampton and any town in general, seeing as 10% of the population has an invisible disability, any business that's not accessible to all people who are disabled could be unknowingly alienating more customers than you ever realized, and losing business by not making things accessible for all. And I have one more accessibility barrier that I want to highlight in relation to myself and others living with disabilities due to chronic illnesses. Many individuals, including myself, who have chronic illnesses are also immunocompromised. With the recent ongoing COVID pandemic, immunocompromised people are struggling to participate in society. And we can't support local businesses as a result. If going out impedes our safety, we can't do it. My multiple sclerosis diagnosis is an autoimmune disorder, and it leaves me immunocompromised. So I'm not going to bore you with a long explanation of what being immunocompromised means. So instead, I'm going to explain to you what it's meant to me and how it's affected myself and my family during the pandemic. And I will share how it's affected our quality of life and how it stopped us from functioning in life as equal contributing parts of society. Should have stapled these together. Doesn't help that shaking hands is part of MS.
You're doing fine.
So everyone's stories are different, but being immersed in the immunocompromised community, I can tell you it's not just me. Many people are struggling the same way. I live in fear of COVID because I, like other immunocompromised individuals, lack the immune response to fight off viruses and especially a deadly virus. And we don't have a healthy immune system like other people do to rely on. And many of us struggle to make the appropriate antibodies from the COVID vaccine. So I'm fully vaccinated. I'm boosted. I actually just got my 4th booster. And apologies. It was every one of my boosters has been a proud moment because it's been one step closer to having some immunity. But that said, my immunity has never gotten above 60%. So it's still not safe for me to go out most of the time. So those factors have left me with only 2 things to protect myself and many other immunocompromised individuals from getting sick from COVID. And those are myself masking and other people masking. When mask mandates were taken away across the state, immunocompromised people's lives became marginalized. And I'll be honest, I've never felt something like that in my life. I cannot explain in words how hurtful and disheartening it is to know that people don't care about your lives, and it doesn't matter if you live and die just so they don't have to wear a mask. Like with invisible illnesses, you never realize what someone's going through just to be out in society. In order for myself to go to a restaurant now with myself or with my kids, I have to call a restaurant and I have to ask them if their staff is masking, because I can't sit at a table if they're going to come over and not be masking. And I know a lot of people would say, well, you just wear your mask, but it does not work that way for people who are immunocompromised. The old adage was, you mask for me, I mask for you. A lot of people with healthy immune systems and boosters of vaccines that work don't have to go by that as much anymore. But for us immunocompromised people, that's how we live. So now when I go out to a restaurant and I call, I also have to be ready to be laughed at. I've been laughed at by many businesses. I've been laughed at by a business here in Northampton when I've asked about masking, and not just here, all over. And so what I do is I look high and low for the places that will go out of the way for me. And I'm sorry to say there's only 3 or 4. And those places we treasure and we go to those places, but it shouldn't be like that. No one should have to live like that. Yeah. I usually don't have trouble with my mask falling down, but I don't usually do much talking with a mask. That fear that I described, what I was talking about, seeing stairs, is the same fear I have when I go in any store. And I don't go in stores. I haven't grocery shopped in 3 years. We use Instacart. Thank God for Instacart for us. I'll get to that after. But when I go into a pharmacy or a convenience store, I play duck and dodge around people, trying to avoid people that don't have masks, because I'll be lucky if there's one person in there. Only to lose that game of duck and dodge when I get to the front counter and the staff is not masking and I'm forced to expose myself. And that's not okay. Sorry. I've always loved Northampton. It's one of my favorite places to eat, go shopping with my family. We used to go on a regular basis. I see Northampton as a progressive town, and I have great hope that they will be a progressive town that could take the steps to help everyone live. So I have a dream of what I think would be fantastic in Northampton or any other town. And the best part about it is it does not make anyone that does not want to wear a mask, except for people working, have to wear a mask. My dream for myself and immunocompromised people would be to have dedicated mask hours in stores, even an hour a week. If I knew I had an hour a week that I could go to the store with my kids and actually just enjoy myself for the first time in 2 years, it would be amazing. a section in restaurants where staff are masking. Yeah. Almost like in the old days we used to have smoking and non-smoking. But having the option, because other people have the option not to wear a mask, I don't, and I don't have the option to go out in society and to be safe unless another person is masking. And my last one is pretty simple. Signs on doors of businesses whose staff are masking. And this is a reward for businesses, because if I know that staff are masking in there, I will tell the whole immunocompromised community that I'm very involved with, and myself, I will go to those places and freak out with my family. So those are my dreams, but I don't think they need to be dreams. They're not that difficult to achieve. I believe those things should be easily be done. And I think Northampton is such an amazing progressive place that I think it's the place that could pave the way and provide a safe haven for immunocompromised people to be safe and live. So in closing, I want to leave you with this thought. When you deny access to people that are disabled for any reason, you are denying yourself from the patronage of customers. I love to support the local economy, as I mentioned earlier, and love to shop local as much as possible. But also, as I mentioned earlier, all my shopping is now done through a large chain through Instacart, because I have no other choice. And so, if we can't come to places to be able to spend our money, then we rely on chains that deliver, and I and many other people lose out on being a part of this beautiful town. So I ask you just to consider those. I feel so blessed and thankful that I was asked to speak in this and be a part of this. And I want to say that we are not our disabilities. Our disabilities are not us. We are people with lives. And we all should have the right to live in society and to enjoy that life too. Thank you.